Triveni Engineering had a very good set of numbers. It's the first corporate on our radar, and in a bit the management will be joining in as well. Strong numbers coming in, growth from all segments. The sugar exports grew about 200%, revenue growth of about 48%, and we have the management, Tarun Sawhney, who's the Vice Chairman and Managing Director at Triveni, who's joining in right now. Tarun, thanks a lot for joining in. I want to first start with the ethanol business because, you know, that's where all the action is at. And in Q4, the ethanol volumes jumped 50%. You have a target of reaching 30 crore litres by the end of FY24. Earlier, you had said FY25, but now, you know, you've talked about FY24 as well. Is it possible for you to reach that? And what is the kind of sustainable growth do you see per quarter in terms of ethanol volumes?
Good morning and pleasure to be on your show. You're right. A significant portion of our growth has come from our ethanol business, and we have managed to reach 18.5 crore litres for this fiscal year. Q4 was an excellent quarter for us in terms of dispatches and deliveries, with all 4 distilleries being online and running at very high levels of efficiency. During fiscal 23-24, as I had mentioned, we will be reaching a total capacity of about over 21 crore litres. And in fiscal 25 is when we will touch at not 30, but 31 crore litres. So that will happen once we have our 2 new distilleries, which will be commissioned during this fiscal year, at the end of this fiscal year, coming on stream, raising the capacity of the company to 110 KLPD. From its existing 660 KLPD. So that's the real increase that we will see over the next 2 fiscal years.
So this is capacity, or this is you'll be able to sell all this in 21 and 21 and then 31 by FY25, so, Tarun.
Yes, so I'm giving you sale numbers. So this is what we will be selling.
These are
in
the
those 2 fiscal
volume
years.
numbers. Okay, by FY25
right.
You'll be selling 31 crore litres.
31 crore litres, correct. With all 6 distilleries operating at high levels of efficiency and capacity utilization.
Okay, got that. Now, Tarun, your sugar exports have grown about 200% in FY23. Could you tell us, what this would look like in FY24?
Well, that's really the million-dollar question. They have grown because sugar exports are. This is really something that comes from the Department of Food and Public Distribution. So the target for this year for the nation's export was 6 million tons. Triveni, as one of the largest producers of sugar in the country, received a sizable portion of that. And we managed to export a lot of our sugar during Q4, which has, of course, impacted our results quite profitably. Now, if we look at the Indian sugar balance sheet going forward, and if I look at season 23-24, I still see scope for Indian sugar exports. Do I see it at the tune of 6 million tons? No, I don't. But I still think that we have sufficient sugar coming in from next season so that the country will be able to export a certain amount of sugar. Perhaps not 6 million. A third of that or half of that would probably be a more reasonable target at this particular point when we don't know what the monsoon is. We don't know what yields are going to be, etc. But having said that, the international markets are extremely buoyant, far more buoyant than the domestic sugar market. Prices have gone to record highs, multi-decade highs, and it would be a shame if the Indian industry cannot participate in that price rise.
So, can you give us some numbers? Your sugar realization, say in this quarter, right, went up about 4%. You're sitting at a little over 36,000 rupees per MT. Can you tell us if there is scope or there are levers for the sugar realizations to increase further in Q1 and Q2? And if yes, what could the range be?
Right, that's an excellent question. Yes, I think that there is scope. Q4 was a mixed bag. We did see softness at the very start of Q4, and then by the end of March, prices became a little more buoyant. As we've gone into Q1, and if we look forward into Q2, Q1 is again a little bit of a mixed bag. There was a concern that there may be less sugar in the country, etc. I think that those concerns have been set to aside. I think those concerns have clearly been mitigated, and we do know that we have enough sugar in the country. So we're seeing prices go up ever so slightly at about 36.70 to almost 3700 for refined sugar, and about 70 rupees per quintal or 70 paisa per kilo less for standard plantation white sugar. As we move into Q2, I think when we get to the holiday season, typically we see a small increase. So I would not rule out an increase of about 100 to 150 rupees per quintal as we move towards the holiday season, which is October 2023. So that's my expectation.
All right, Tarun, very quickly before we let you go, we are running into market opening. I'd last time asked you about a demerger, potential demerger of the businesses that you have. Could that be on the cards in FY24?
The board has not considered any demerger of any of our businesses. As you know, we have a buoyant engineering business. In fact, our engineering business, PBIT, for the first time in our history, went above 100 crores for the year. But there are no plans for a demerger.
All right, no plans for a demerger. Got that. Tarun, good to speak with you. Thank you very much, and hope to be able to speak with you soon again around all your businesses. But solid performance in the fourth quarter, and outlook remains strong as well. On sugar, of course, as Tarun explained, there is no. It's not clear in terms of what kind of range we will have and what the total output will be, and then what will be allowed to be exported. Last year, of course, was 6 million tons, but as Tarun said, it could be a third, it could be half, and that's a number which could be a big variable.